Hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking and Barry back again. Oh, but wait! Who's going to be the special guest star next to Barry in this episode? Because that's a thing we just do now. Drum roll, please! Why, it's da-da-da-da! The Cocaine Grenade from the hit Twitch series One Piece D&D, coming back to a screen near you June 9th. Go check out Rustage's Twitch for more. Gonna put him, actually I'm gonna put him right there you go, the Cocaine Grenade. Yeah, all right. Also, other special guests that I just realized, there's a fly in this room. So there he is. I don't know if you saw him, but I did. So get ready for your comments. Be like, okay, where's that fly at? Boom, 7 minutes 27 seconds, there's the fly. Oh, there he is again. Okay, so I'm telling you what, you guys better have a keen eye here. All right, okay, so what are we talking about? I don't even know. All right, the government. Okay, so Tekking talks about the world government. Now, personally, no, the world government of One Piece. It's fictional, you see. It doesn't have any allegory or corollary to the current governments of the world, any of them. It's just the world government of One Piece. Absolutely. Okay. So, what's their next move going to be? Yeah, so let's do a little bit of a recap here. As of chapter 1050, the entire island of Wano, well, I don't know if it's the entire island, because you gotta remember Wano is big, and it's basically a giant plateau in the middle of the ocean, so they might not have the entire island surrounded, although if there was any group in the world that would have the resources and the amount of battleships and the manpower necessary to completely surround an island, I mean, it would be the world government. Granted, they sent a lot of the Marines off to capture the warlords or the ex-warlords, so they might be kind of stretched thin right now, but the government itself, I'm sure, has massive fleets of just their own ships that aren't Marine ships that are just purely for the government's use, okay? So I don't know if they're going to go to the next mile and, like, stretch their fleets around the entirety of Wano, because it's a big nation. But at the very least, they're probably going to be swarming around the entrances to the island, okay? So all the waterfalls that you can gain entrance to Wano, I don't know if they know about the Mogura port, which actually might serve as a viable escape route for the Straw Hats, as well as the Kid Pirates. And, well, Law has the submarine, so he, in theory, could just, you know, sneak under the fleet and get away that way. But I don't know how that's going to go. So it's surrounded, at least, at the points that actually matter, okay? On top of that, we had the 3 Cypher Pool Zero agents that were stationed at Wano. We had Maha, who is, I don't know if he's dead, but he was in the basement, and he was the one that was defeated by Izo. So he's knocked out at the very least. Then we have Fred, who was the leader, the guy with the bowler hat. He is most definitely dead. In fact, I think it was pretty much confirmed by the Gorosei. Like, we had to sacrifice one of our best agents, you know, to make sure that this happened, to make sure that, you know, Kaido won. Now, I know that that's not a confirmation, and it is One Piece, but, you know, if Fred turns out to still be alive, I would say that's a pretty big what kind of moment, you know, because Kaido brought down the Kanabo, and then the fight continued all around the battlefield. Fred is most likely dead. Then we have the last member, the tall, lanky dude that did escape. We saw him geppoing away out of Onigashima, probably rendezvousing with the fleet, okay? So I'm imagining he's gonna land, get some Gatorade or a power bar or whatever. He's had quite a night. He's gonna land there and he's gonna be like, oh, drink. Glug, glug, glug. And then, you know, he's like, Mr. Cypher Pool Zero agent, we have a call from the Gorosei. And he's just like, my best friends just died. Can you give me a second? He takes off his mask. He starts crying. He's like, okay, puts the mask back on. Give me the Den Mushi. Yeah, hi, how you doing? You know, it's like, so the Gorosei, of course, are going to want a full report on this. Now, they're going to need to brew some coffee in their room of authority, all right? Because they're going to need to make a pretty big decision here. Momonosuke, at the behest of just, you know, Zunisha explaining that the fleet is outside Wano, decides not to open the nation, okay? Not right at this moment, at any rate, okay? That would be a bad idea, because if he opens up Wano, if he, like, you know, turns back into an adult, and he just, you know, goes into the flower capital and just announces to everybody, you know, Wano will now be open to the world! Actually, you know, the people of Wano might be like, yay, Kaido and Orochi are defeated. Wano's gonna be open, too. Yeah, not sure how we feel about that one, Momonosuke. I mean, awesome, you defeated Kaido and Orochi, but I don't know about that. Because the isolationist thing of Wano, you gotta remember, that was something that was put in place centuries before Orochi and Kaido were even born. You know, that was something way back during the Void Century, the isolationist thing happened, right? Odin wanted to open up the country, but not a lot of people really supported him in that endeavor, okay? So it's probably a good thing, though, because if he did open the nation up right now, the government would just storm it, okay? But the government, here's the thing, they might do that anyway, okay? It's not like the government is waiting for an invitation here, right? It's not like they're just, you know, spying on Wano and they're like, wait a second. The moment they give the order that Wano is opened up, then that's when we storm, you know, make it ironic for them, you know what I mean? Yeah. They're not going to wait for somebody to do it. They're just going to, like, maybe just like, okay, storm the waterfall, let's go, okay? And that Cypher Pull Zero agent is going to explain the outcome of the battle. He's going to be like, to be fair, he wasn't there when, like, Kaido actually got pounded into the ground, and he also was not there when Nekomamushi announced, like, you know, oh, the battle is over now, we won. He wasn't there for that. He left while Luffy and Kaido were still clashing in the sky, but I think he left because I think he had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen. You know, Monkey D. Luffy has the mythical Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. He is now the Sun God, or the embodiment of the Sun God, or whatever, this fruit that the Gorosei did not want to be awakened in centuries, and now he's clashing with Kaido, and the flame clouds are beginning to dissipate, and the island's beginning to fall. I think that Cypher Pull Zero agent could have put 2 and 2 together and be like, holy crap, I don't think Kaido's gonna win this one. In fact, I think the odds are probably in Luffy's favor right now. And you gotta remember, at the end of the day, Cypher Pull Zero, yeah, they're like the personal bodyguards of the Tenryubito, but they're also still Cypher Pull. They're still assassins. They're probably pretty good at assessing the overall strength or the overall, like, situation and how it's going to end. So I think when he finally decided to, you know, to leave, to get the hell out of Onigashima, he was pretty damn confident that Luffy was going to win that battle. He was going to win the fight. And he's just like, all right, I need to get back to the ship and I need to relay information. It's also possible the government, I mean, they could have spies on the inside, you know, well, Drake is in there, but he's with Sword, and Sword is not, like, directly working with Cypher Pull Zero. They're, like, actually opposed to each other. But you know what I mean? Like, there's other ways the government might find out that, like, okay, Kaido was 100% defeated, Luffy 100% won, okay? And I guess we're still not 100% even clear on that information because, like I said, I made a video about this a couple days ago. You know, Kaido and Big Mom could always emerge from the magma depths of Wano as, like, you know, half-dissolved zombies. It could still happen, right? You just never know. Oh, man, what if Kaido emerged as a dragon, so he was like a half-melted magma dragon? Like, even more than a magma dragon than he was before, okay? So, yeah, he's like fire and zombie type, and duck type as well. So, anyway, he gets back, he relays the information to the Gorosei. Now, the Gorosei have a decision they need to make, okay? Also, by the way, keep in mind, giant elephant right behind them, okay? Giant elephant Zunisha is looming over their fleet. There's the fly. I don't know exactly what their take is going to be on that, all right? If the Gorosei are going to be like, all right, so, how's this going to go? We have a fleet in front of Wano, yeah. Luffy has won, yeah, and he's also probably severely wounded. Like, they have to understand that. Like, okay, even if Luffy defeated Kaido, he's going to be severely injured, all right? There's no way you can get through a fight with Kaido and even win and be, like, in perfect condition, okay? So the Gorosei might get a little ahead of themselves here. They might be like, this is our opportunity to right past wrongs and to get our hands on the Sun God fruit, okay? Like, it always slips through our hands. Not this time, damn it. Like, Samurai Gandhi slams his hands on the table, like, not this time! You know, and just like, all right, we're gonna, I guess, you know, attack Wano. All ships move forward up the giant waterfall or whatever they have, you know? That could be a situation just to capture Luffy more than anything, okay? It might be worth more to them than the sea prism reserves on the island, to maybe any amounts of gold on the island, or poneglyphs, or any information about the Void Century that that would be outlawed by the world government. You got to imagine how much a thorn in the ass that Wano has to be to the world government, right? So they're this nation that's been isolated since the Void Century, which means they keep their own records and their own stuff. So probably a lot of stuff in the castle that's kept in like the archives or whatever would be considered like heresy to the world government. That like it would be like Ohara all over again. They would just want to wipe it all out. But they can't get to this island. Hundreds and hundreds of years of them attempting to, and they just can't. They're just too powerful. The samurai are too strong. I like to think that whole situation with Ryuma 400 years ago, that was like the world nobles flying their dragons into the island to try to like, you know, burn it to the ground or take it over or whatever. Ryuma cut that damn dragon down pretty quick and like ended that whole, you know, campaign, you know, pretty damn fast. So I like to think they've attempted to do this throughout the centuries. It's just that they just can't, okay? Just like every time they're always repelled, all right? So it's like, man, that's a lot of really important stuff. We got to get into Wano, but even more so than that is the Gumu Gumu no Mi. Because the Gorosei have to know, these are turbulent times they are living in right now. You know, it's the end of an era. The new era is beginning, as Blackbeard said. You know, Whitebeard is dead. If Kaido and Big Mom are truly defeated, and now Blackbeard's the new Yonko, you know, all this crazy crap going on, and then the worst generation, you got Luffy, you got Kid, you got Law, you got everybody, you know, gaining power in the world, then you got the Revolutionary Army doing their things. You know, the Gorosei even mentioned this at Reverie, and by the way, they even mentioned, like, oh my god, that this year's Reverie was a disaster. It was the worst thing ever. Oh my god. All the kings were arguing, you know, people were being kidnapped, you know, we ran out of you know, the hors d'oeuvres, you know, we ran out of those little like pickled you know, pig's feet or whatever. I don't know what nobles eat. And just like, yeah, we ran out of that and we just don't know what to do now, right? So they mentioned like all this stuff going on with the Reverie and how horrible it's been, that they're going to start doing a cleansing soon anyway, which is something the Gorosei of every generation have probably done every couple of centuries. They'll be like, all right, it's time for another cleansing, right? So they know times are changing, and they know Wano is a focal point of that. So even if it might not be the most logical thing, like tactically, they might have to attack Wano right now just out of necessity. Okay, it's like, yeah, we might get repelled. Yeah, we have a giant elephant that could wipe out our fleet right to our backs, but we can't pass up this opportunity. We can't just take our fleets and just go home and just be like, you know what? We'll let them have this victory. We're just going to get moving. We're going to head back to Marijois. I don't think that would be a smart move for them, all right? I think they're kind of pushed up against a wall right now, and they have to advance, all right? Now, here's another question. Is Im going to get involved on this decision? I only say this because, yeah, the Gorosei normally handle these decisions on their own, and it's not like Im is, you know, involved in every single major decision that the Gorosei make. But this is a big deal. Once again, this is something involving Wano. This is the best shot that they've had in taking over Wano since the Void Century. And I assume that Im is, like, maybe not, like, some immortal ghost. I mean, that would be cool. But definitely has some connections to the Void Century. Whether you want to say that, like, maybe Im is, like, the end of a family line that stretches back directly to the Void Century. Or maybe Im is an immortal vampire or something. But Im definitely has a major connection to the Void Century. More so than the Gorosei do. More so than just regular members of the Will of D do. It might be a situation like, oh, did you ever think of this? Wow, I just thought of this. I don't even know if this is a thing. Could Im have been sent into the future with the Time Fruit? Maybe not by Toki, but by some other person that had the power of the Time Fruit before Toki. Toki has had the power for 800 years because she's time jumping, but somebody clearly had it before her. So what if somebody had the Time Fruit, sent Im into the future, and there's where we are right now. Maybe not into the present day, but sent Im into the future, I don't know, like 30 or 40 years before, you know, before now in the present storyline, and they set themselves up as the, you know, as the supreme ruler of the world government. Maybe there was a prophecy or something, or maybe Im is immortal. I have no idea. But you'd think that this would be the situation where the Gorosei are all in the room of authority, and they're arguing about what to do, and they're like, you know, oh, do we invade? Do we not invade? I wonder if that's the reason there's 5 of them, the Gorosei, to, like, tiebreaker sort of situation. So like 2 of them, you know, say it's like we should invade, and then the other 2 are like we should retreat, and then the last one is like Gondalf's brother or whatever. Gonfal's brother's like, I think We should break for lunch. This is really difficult. Hey, how about that new Mexican place down the road? Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, by the way, I hear like 37,000 new bakeries also opened up. Yeah, that's good. Let's go try that. 300 new bakeries, all run by ex-One Piece villains. Let's go try some of that out, and then we'll make our decision, right? Maybe that's the situation. They're tiebreakers. But anyway, they're arguing in the room of authority, and then all of a sudden the doors just click, just open up, and then Eam walks in. And they all just shut the hell up in the middle of their argument. Like, we should do this. We should do this. Click. And then, like, I don't know. I'm thinking of the All for One music from My Hero Academia, like that creepy ass opera music cues up. And then, like, fog, like, Eam, whenever he walks around, travels with, like, a retinue of servants that have, like, fog machines or whatever. Like, and then he walks in, and he has this flowing cape behind him, or her, we don't know. And then, Eam arrives in the room and just, like, speaks a single word or something. Just like, advance. And then moves back into the door, and everyone's like, okay, shit, I guess we're advancing. All right, attack Wano, right? Like, yeah, so I feel like maybe Eam might not go to the Room of Authority. Maybe that might be something that, Eam would summon the Gorosei for, into the throne room or whatever, and then Eam makes the decision of, like, attack Wano. Even without Eam getting involved directly, that seems like like Eam going to the Gorosei, that seems like the kind of thing the Gorosei would want to double check with Eam. Because Wano is not like a regular island of just like, hey, should we conquer this normal island? Yeah, why not? Who gives a shit? Or maybe we shouldn't because whatever. You don't have to burden Eam-sama with every single decision in the world government involving islands, involving the revolutionaries. But Wano, man, that's a pretty big decision to make, okay? So I think the Gorosei, the next time we see the Gorosei, they might be in the throne room at the empty throne, and we might actually see them, addressing Eam like, Lord Eam-sama. Wano has fallen. Kaido has been defeated, and Orochi has been slain. Straw Hat Luffy is in possession of the most cursed of devil fruits. Maybe we'll see a moment where, like, they mention the Gamu Gamu no Mi, or they mention the sun god Nika fruit to Eam, and then maybe we'll have, like, a close-up of Eam's hand or something, and Eam is just like, just like that fruit, and like the presence, like the conqueror's hockey of like gods, like shakes the room, and the Gorosei are like, we're sorry, we keep messing this up. And Eam gets up out of their chair and just like, he's like, I have asked you to bring me that fruit for the last 40 generations of you. You cease to always fail me. Wait, you cease to fail me? You cease to succeed. Therefore, you fail me. It's like, oh no, we're sorry, Eam. We're sorry. Ooh, maybe Eam might kill one of them. They're Gorosei. There might be replacements, you know what I mean? We don't know their names. Maybe that's because they're not that important. I mean, at the end of the day, they're really not, because Eam is the one that's like, Lord Rulering this crap in the high tower, you know what I mean? Like, that's how this is going on. So, honestly, what if, like, Eam walks out and just, I wouldn't want him to kill all of them, because it'd be like, what was the point of having the Gorosei for the first, like, over 1,000 chapters of this story, and then they're just all dead? But you could kill one of them or something, you could kill the Gorbachev-looking dude or whatever. You just be like, just like annihilate him with a wave of his hand, or like crush him with the Conqueror's hockey or something, like Nanika from Hunter x Hunter or something. And then it's like just bring in a replacement to the Gorosei or something. Like, you have failed me. Do not fail me again, or you will all perish. And it's like, okay, sir, and it's like they leave. Okay, so it might be something like that. But I feel like, I feel like Eam needs to make an appearance here, all right? Especially since we're dealing with this sun god. Maybe Eam is like... I was talking about how Blackbeard might be the antithesis to Luffy. Luffy being the sun god. Maybe Blackbeard is like representative of like a moon deity or something like that. Or rather, the sun brings light, Blackbeard brings darkness, but there also might be a connection to Eam here, because we're dealing with someone that might very well be some kind of immortal ghost or demon or something, for all we know, right? So, it might be a situation where Eam might be a former colleague of Joy Boy or a former enemy of Joy Boy way back in the day, and Eam would know full well. I'm sure Eam had to be the one to give the order initially to the Gorosei, find that devil fruit, capture it. Like, I think Eam was the one that first gave that order because they knew more than anybody else still alive how dangerous that fruit was, and it was in the hands of Joy Boy. And the Gorosei kept messing this up. They could never get their hands on it, and I don't think Eam would do something so drastic as, like, reveal themselves to the world, like, fine, I'll do it. I don't think that would happen. I think there's a major reason why Eam has to stay hidden from the world in the castle. But I think that, like, they might make the order of, like, Gorosei, go capture it no matter what. Now, would they be able to succeed in that? The Gorosei attack Wano. Zunisha would probably relay that information immediately to Momonosuke. Like, Momonosuke, we have a problem. What is it, Zunisha? The government is attacking. Oh, man. All right, sink as many ships as you can. He's like, okay, but I won't be able to get them all. He's like, Zunisha! All right, and then it's like, then some of the ships manage to get up to the top of Wano, and they begin to invade the ports, and it's like, okay, here we go, round 2. Here comes, like, okay, we defeated the boss, but we have another boss battle after it. Here we are, here we go. But a lot of people have actually mentioned the exploding, the volcano going off. Because the volcano is currently erupting in the space between Udon and Onigashima, where it used to be. So if the government were to, like, attack Wano and get to the top, they wouldn't really be able to access the port to, like, where Hakumai and Udon is to get to the flower capital because there is a giant volcano erupting right now, right? They can't go through the water. They would have to go around the island and go up the Koi waterfall by Curry, and they'd have to go and travel through the Curry region and then Kibi or Udon to reach Wano, to reach the flower capital that way. And, also, Orochi destroyed all the bridges, so that would be a real difficulty for, like, advancing, like, ground troops or whatever. Ooh. Orochi might have, like, his last act of life might have actually completely screwed over the world government's attempt at capturing Wano. That's really funny. Like, Orochi's like, capture the Straw Hats, eliminate them, I'll destroy all the bridges, boom, boom, boom. And then it's like, then he dies, and then the government attacks, like, capture Straw Hat Luffy, who destroyed all these damn bridges? Just like, that might, and that's an Oda thing right there, to take something that you thought was like, oh no, this was the villain, taking the advantage of the battle, and it's like, oh no, it actually ends up working in the Allies' favor at the end of the day. That might be a situation. That might be a thing there. We'll have to see on how that goes. But yeah, getting into one, I kept forgetting about that damn volcano erupting, right? Oda, you're clever, man. It's just like, oh, why isn't the government just immediately advancing? Oh, because there's a volcano erupting in the middle of the ocean. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and even if the volcano stops erupting, which I don't think it will anytime soon, it's a volcano, it's probably going to erupt for several hours, if not days, I guess. But even if it does stop, I mean, it's still going to be molten magma, all throughout the ocean. Like, you're not going to be able just to sail through that shit. The boat would, like, catch on fire or not be able to sail through it at all. It'd be like a magma lava slurry or whatever. Actually, when the molten magma, when that shit hits the water, it turns into obsidian, right? Yeah, so I guess that's like a lot of Mesoamerican cultures around volcanoes would, use obsidian gathered from, like, the base of volcanoes and shit. So, you're not going to sail ships through that is the point. So, man, okay. This is going to be difficult for them. I just don't see them retreating, though. I don't see them, even with that situation, I don't see them, like, immediately just retreating and getting out of there, right? I see them maybe getting forced back. They could get forced back by Zunisha. Maybe Momonosuke could turn into his dragon form again and maybe use a Boro breath or something. Yamato is there, maybe everybody, because there are still, like, not everybody is completely winded from this fight. I think Yamato still has a lot of fight. Momo, is a little bit, like, stressed out from, like, lifting the island, but I think he can still fight. Denjiro, like, basically, I mean, yeah, he fought Kaido and was injured there, but beyond that, I mean, that was like 30, 40, 50 chapters ago. Denjiro's fine. Frankie mentioned in the last chapter, he's got cola to spare. All right, so here's the plan. Frankie, Zunisha, Momo, and Yamato form a crack commando unit. Are you with me so far? Form a crack commando unit to take down the world government fleet. Hold on a second. Let me try something, okay? F is in Frankie, Y is in Yamato, M is in Momo, Z as in Zunisha. Is there a really cool, like, acronym or like a thing we could do with those letters? FYMZ. No, that's not gonna work. Fliesm. I don't know. Somebody come up with a really cool crack commando name for that. I don't know. But like everybody's together and it's just like, yeah, let's do this. And then, you know, you got Momonosuke riding down and then you got Yamato and Frankie on the back of Momonosuke. Frankie opens up. It's like, all right, you government scum, let's do this. Weapons left. And then Yamato's firing like giant ice bullets or whatever. And then Zunisha's like, Zunisha! And it's like the government won't know what hit him, damn it. Okay. Yeah. I just want Frankie to have another he's my favorite Straw Hat. I want him to have another really cool scene here. I was kind of pissed in the last chapter when he was going to fight against all the remaining members of like the waiters and the pleasures that were still on Kaido's side. And Yamato's like, wait a second. No, Brooks stops Frankie. Brooks like, wait a second, Frankie. Yamato has to say something. And Yamato's like, you know, don't fight or I'll grind you into dust myself. And then the men are just like, oh, okay. But man, Frankie was getting ready. He was rearing up for another fight. Let's do it. All right. Anyway, that's the video. I don't know if I made a point, but if I did, let me know, and how the government's going to do this. So thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking. Moving on to horse facts. Yeah, why not? Cue that intro.
Tekking talks about horses.
Okay, so today we're talking about the Percheron horse, I think. It is the most popular breed in France. So we're heading to France for this episode of Horse Facts. They originated in West France, although their exact origin and exactly what their ancestors are and how they were bred it's kind of a mystery. Nobody really knows. They're a mystery horse, as Luffy would say it. They are draft horses, which means mainly for agricultural work, carrying lumber and things, although they're also bred for slaughter, for meat and stuff. The U.S. actually imported a lot of these horses, from France, but then there was an embargo that happened during World War I, and so no more horses came to the States. A lot of them were actually, severely, annihilated during World War I because a lot of war horses were involved. We don't really fight wars with horses anymore. That was more, I guess World War I was like, I guess World War II saw some action with that too, but, we don't really fight with horses anymore. It's just kind of a thing that fell out of vogue. It's sort of like that line in Venture Brothers, the Army doesn't really sword fight anymore, so that's how it goes. But they're pretty big horses. In fact, some people actually thought that the Percheron horse was the largest horse, even more than the Shire and the Clydesdale. And I think at the end of the day, there's probably some Percheron horses that are larger than Clydesdales, but I think on average, they're a little smaller. They're about 6 feet tall, but they can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. Let's see. Oh, this is an interesting fact. So during the French Revolution, a lot of them were wiped out as well. And so they got some Arabian stallions to breed with the horse to kind of like revitalize and like bring back their population. So that was interesting. So they're mixed with Arabian stallions. So I guess they're a little bit more warm-blooded then. And then you have, this is a mid-19th century picture of a horse fair. A horse fair. I didn't know those were a thing, but they are. And there's some Percheron horses there. So yeah, that's cool. That's the Percheron horse. It's a French horse. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking and Barry and Cocaine Grenade signing out. I hope you got to see the fly. I hope the fly was on camera at some point. Thanks for watching. Later, everyone.